Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Charlie.
Well, as we've been discussing in the last section, the most crucial characteristic of cloud outlets is its complicated narrative structure, so which make us get confused. So in your opinion, what makes the director to choose such a complicated narrative structure?
One strategy in art is to focus on the content. There's the saying, content determines form.
Ah, yeah.
And there are so many narrative threads that the form of the movie has to be based on the interconnection of all these threads as the subject of the movie.
Exactly. I think although the 6 stories seems to be separated, but if we look closely, we can find a lot of interconnections between those storylines.
Sure. I didn't see it the first time I saw it, but after a couple more viewings, could sort out the interconnections among the different timelines.
Oh, could you please introduce that to us?
Sure. Around 1850, in the Pacific Islands, the lawyer left a diary.
Yes.
That was read in Scotland by the composer.
Ah, yeah.
The composer wrote some letters and made a recording.
Yeah.
That were read and heard by the journalist in San Francisco. In the 70s.
That's right.
And then in London, around contemporary time, the publisher read a novel based on the journalist's life. And then in the next timeline, in the Neo-Korea, the clone sees a film about the publisher.
Yeah.
And then the clone makes a audio recording that is heard by the tribesmen in the future Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's a lot of storylines.
Yes. So we can see the interconnection of these stories is so compact.
Right.
So let's get down to the first topic, as we mentioned, the interconnection of life. So before that, I want to share one of my personal experience. When the internet first appeared in China, it is so fashion to find yourself a network name. So at that time, I tried to think about what should I choose for my network name. And one day, I got the inspiration. I remember that day I was standing on the top of a skyscraper, so which gave me a transcendent perspective. When I looked down to the ground, I found all the vehicles is like moving bugs, and all the pedestrians seems like tiny ants. For that moment, that transcendent perspective suddenly gave me this kind of inspiration. And everyone is actually an inconspicuous tiny ant in the crowd. So at that moment, I start to name myself the tiny ant.
Okay. I've had a similar feeling. Most people do when growing up and leaving adolescence and going out into the public sphere. Person is can feel very small in the crowd of a lot of people.
Yes.
And as cosmology has developed, we now know that Earth is just like a speck of dust in the cosmos.
That's right.
Yeah, so I thought about giving myself the name infinitesimal speck in the cosmos.
That's right. Absolutely. Sometimes I think, yes, it's true that we should admit our tininess, but I think if we focus more on our tininess, it might have some side effect as well. Just like in the Matrix, when Neo was chased by the agent, Neo complained, "I'm just nobody. Why me?" So everybody think I'm nobody. But the human, although it seems that we are all separated individual, I think the existence of human always take the form of society and groups. So the human are never separated, totally separated from the interconnection of the others. The existence of human always take the form of society or community. I think Cloud Atlas has used 6 stories to illustrate this point. Let's take a look at this short clip from this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so to know thyself is only possible through the eyes of the other. The nature of our immortal lives is in the consequences of our words and deeds that go on apportioning themselves throughout all time.
So just like this movie showed, the tiny behavior and tiny words might have significant impact to our society and the world.
Okay, yeah, that reminds me of an idea from science called the butterfly effect.
Oh yeah, butterfly effect.
Right, and in a nutshell, if a butterfly flaps its wings, it can influence weather around the world. The idea was developed by a scientist, Edward Lorenz, who studied chaos theory. It's similar to what you talked about, people and the influence they can have on society. One butterfly or one person can take a very small action, and it can have a huge influence a long way away or a long time away.
Oh yeah, what you mentioned about the butterfly effect reminds me about the idea that I have heard from an online course from Harvard University. It was called Positive Psychology, and Professor Taylor in that course introduced us a conception about exponential function. Let's take a look at this short clip for a while. Yeah.
Sure.